Hello, everybody. Welcome to CCM Brazil, and the first panel in the day. And can you introduce yourself, please, Renato?
Thank you. My name is Renato. I'm heading the Office of Granting and Licensing Process in Anatel. I would like to thank Karine and GCCM again for this great pleasure and also great opportunity to talk to you guys and to give the Anatel's vision of this important issue. Thank you.
Tito Costa, I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Elea. We are an edge data center platform with 7 data centers in Brazil for now. Pleasure to be here and discuss a little bit about what sustainability means for us.
Hi, I'm Rafael Lozano. I'm the country manager of ElaLink. ElaLink is a company that we own, operate, and sell the subsea cable that connects for the first time Latin America directly in the direct route to Europe, connecting the major data centers also in Latin America and in Europe.
I'm Alan. I'm the CEO and co-founder of telecom group. We are a service provider, internet service provider, an MVNO, CLAC, and a telecom provider.
Thank you. And we'll start with a small presentation at Anatel.
Thank you again. I promise you I will not take that much time doing this presentation, but I would like to share you some views of future demand in Latin America, especially in Brazil. So my colleagues here could complete the panel with how data center will meet this future demand. Okay, but first off, this is the small agenda I will be covering here. And growing internet demand in Brazil, we have more than 46.4 million subscription of fixed broadband right now. So since 2018, we were close to 6 million, and in 2022 we had one important event. We have national ISPs and operators, and we have also playing a very important role in this game, the regional ISP. Nowadays we have more than 20,000 small operators in Brazil, and I will talk a little bit of how we opened the doors for these small operators. In August 22, we faced this important point of inflection because the national ISP was driving in a constant way around 24 million of subscriptions. And we, as you can see, they didn't grow as much as the small one. So what happened in Brazil is that we have areas. Brazil is a huge country, and you have areas that is not there is no economic interest for the big players, and those small ISPs are getting there and getting user subscription, getting money from the place that the bigger one doesn't want to go. So in August 22, the subscriptions of those regional ISPs overcome the national ones. And by now, summing up both of them, national one and regional one, we have more than 46 millions. So the regional ISPs practically double the market with their capability of getting where the national one are not able to get. So it's a very important point to check. Do you want to?
I just want to make some question
Please.
or comment.
Anybody, anytime.
Those are official numbers, right?
Those are official numbers
and
from
we have
Anatel.
the unofficial numbers because
Yes,
we know
for
there
sure.
are ISPs that don't report their connectivity. So
Yes.
it's actually more.
It's even better. It's even bigger than that.
Yeah, it's even growing more than that, for sure. But it's the official number that we have right now in Anatel. And let's move a little bit. This is mobile So the previous one was fixed broadband. Here is mobile, and I took a slice of 4G and 5G only, okay? Because talking about broadband, I thought that taking 4G and 5G only, it's better than taking 3G or 2G or whatever. So since 2016, we moved from something above 15 million subscriptions, and nowadays we are close to 208 millions of users of mobile broadband. Of course, those users are concentrated in some regions. Here we don't have small operators. We have only the bigger ones. But the number is expressive, considering that we are in Brazil and our population is close to that one. So everybody has a phone right now, nowadays, and it's an important market, growing internet demand in Brazil. So fixed internet demand in Latin America. So comparing Brazil to Latin America, speed test users could give us a view of the 20 countries in Latin America, and Chile has played a great job, a great game. Actually, he is closing the important number of 215 megabits per second, okay, median per user, and Brazil is in the 4th place. And I do think that this number shows how important data center will be for meeting this demand, because every time we are downloading much and much more content, and the speed is rising fast. So, but let's take a look for the future, okay? These data I took from Ericsson forecast. And in the first image, what we can see the content that is driving the demand. So we have a gray orders, other type of contents. We are not focused on that, but we have networking and video, social networking video that is it's increasing fast, and by 2026. 5G is expected to represent around 42% of mobile subscription in Latin America, and 5G is driving this video demand for somehow. Because I don't know you guys, but some time ago, without 5G, I was, for instance, Netflix user at home. Nowadays, I'm finishing my lunchtime. I can go to Netflix and watch the end of my episode, for instance. So everywhere I can watch video without the need of downloading it previously or something like that. So Ericsson foresee that behavior, and they say that by 2026, we have 43% of the demand, video demand or internet demand, driven by 5G. In the second image, we are comparing Latin America with the worldwide growth, and as the behavior is the same as the video content. And the third image, I show the 5G growing much faster than the other technology that actually was going down with time is passing. So here, the last one, I took from Netflix users. So in a lot of countries in Latin America, and we can see that the major countries, the bigger countries, or at least in economy view, they are using more than 3 megabits per second per user. The user experience 3 megabits per second. So this is a fixed analysis, fixed broadband analysis. I didn't took the mobile one, but it gives us an expectation that the demand, internet demand, is growing fast. This is just one platform. Imagine that number considering other important platforms like Netflix. And what technologies are shaping this internet demand? So the most important one in our point of view is 5G adoption. So 5G adoptions give the internet, give to the user the possibility to access the internet everywhere with coverage. And in Brazil, we had the auction 2 years ago, some close to one year and a half ago. And all our capitals are covered by 5G already. We have also coverage in cities with more than 5,000 users are covered also. And we are moving fast. The operators, the three operators are adopting it. So the user experience is different. Yes, it's much better than the 4G. You have significantly faster data speed, low latency, and the ability to connect more devices simultaneously. Another important thing that, another important point to consider here is the remote work and online collaborations. Nowadays in Anatel, for instance, we have online meetings with everybody at the same office, at the same meeting. We don't meet together because it's easier, it's more efficient, and you can share content with everybody as you want. So online collaboration is a reality that came and rise very fast and is a no way back solution. So without internet, that would not be possible. The pandemic period would be, I would say that would be terrible. And besides that, we have also streaming content consumption, Netflix, Prime Video, YouTube, Spotify, gaming, and much more. IoT and smart devices are coming. Actually, it's a reality for part of the society, and they require, for instance, for home device, driverless cars, wearables, industrial IoT applications, and all of those applications interconnected are requesting data and also providing data in the network. And the one important and critical application is the e-commerce and digital payments, reliability and also it's also a very important rule that data centers plays here in this application. So rules of data centers meeting this demand. Malcolm X once said that the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. So high-speed content delivery, low latency, high reliability, and redundancy. So those three columns of the network are provided by data centers. So I wouldn't read here because my time is running fast. But everybody knows that multiple data centers strategically placed around the network speed up the content delivery. So the user are not, they want it fast and they want it all the time. So who gives it? The closer data center. I am used to compare I was thinking the data center as the tower. When we had the 3G, we have, of course, a lot of towers. But in 5G, we have we need 3 or 4 more times towers than the 3G because the tower must be closer to the user. Data center also must be closer to the user to provide high-speed content, low latency. For instance, for crucial real-time applications such as VR application, gaming, and other one that provides to the user a better experience, you need data center closer. So 5G, for instance, the requirement is above 10 milliseconds in median, but for telemedicine, for instance, it's not the case. You need it very, very short, low latency. So redundancy, for instance, is something that data center could provide for streaming and other applications that give us high-speed content and low latency again. So challenges that I want to give some light over it. For instance, network neutrality. ISP must treat all internet, not on ISP, but ISP and operators also, must treat all internet communication equally. So in data center, that's a challenge because you cannot have in the same data center all internet content replicated. So it's network neutrality is a challenge. Infrastructure investment in Latin America, many parts of it still lack digital infrastructure. Security and data privacy. Data center will for sure store personal data that's regulated by the law. For instance, here in Brazil and other Latin American countries is also regulating it. So regulatory issues like bureaucratic process, licensing requirements, and guidelines for data center establishment can hinder or foster, as we have in Brazil, infrastructure development. I just took two of those challenges to present solutions that Anatel was providing. For instance, infrastructure and investment solutions. We had two programs. The North Connected program, I'm sorry because I tried to translate it for English, and in Portuguese is better, but the Sustainable and Integrated Amazon program. So we have this two program that has 8 infovias that is covering 68 cities with more than 12,000 kilometers of sub-highway optical cables. Up to 10 million people will have full access to the internet. So we are doing this project with resources from the 5G auctions. 5G auction was the first one that did a mindset change. Instead of taking the money from the operators and putting it in the government account, we decide to create projects and to give to the operators to, okay, you can have the spectrum, and instead of giving the money to the government, you can pick up projects. So this one is one of the projects that was covered by this money. So it's a lot of money, I can say that. But it's a lot of work also. So each cable has 48 monomode fibers, the WDM system with each one with 40 optical channels, 100 gigabits per channel, and 4 terabits per fibra. So the metropolitan network that they need to create will attend urban public school, hospitals, armed force organization in the urban area. And the capabilities that's left over, if I can say that, can be sold for the whoever is wanted the small ISPs, for instance. So we have also a possible Pacific to Atlantic interconnection. We have started discussion with Peru and Colombia already started. So regulatory solution, this one is infrastructure, and this one is the regulatory solution. We published in 2018. That time that I presented that graphic, that the internet raised from 5 million subscription to 20 million subscription was due to this bureaucratic this solution. We opened the doors. Whoever has less than 5,000 users can start operating without the need of submitting an application to Anatel, just a straightforward registration. Also, license requirements, we don't request to license the station. It doesn't need to pay anything. IoT licenses, we have a simple declaration of equipment, count, just the number of equipment, and zero cost fee. Private network, so for private network, as I said yesterday, you can use 700 megahertz, 3.7 to 3.8, 2.3 to 2.4 megahertz band, inside a private delimited area, paying less than 100 reais without the necessary auction, and it's important for Industry 4.0, mining, offshore application, more. Sorry for taking too long, but thank you guys. I'm here to contribute with the discussion.
Thank you, Renato. And when you say about the 5G, I think our society, our marketing is very growing in different demands, okay? Services like multimedia, IoT, AI, and cloud systems. How do you think about the impact of this in the ESP operators? Can you talk about this?
Well, with 5G, what we'll see is a big bandwidth for the user. And with that, it's going to be enabling new applications, behavioral new behavioral from the users as well, because the same way we saw Netflix surge, video surge because it was available, we'll see other applications starting to be available and again increase the demand for the data, and that's going to be a challenge because the data will have to be close to the users, as we are saying, and that's the whole discussion here about the data centers. And the capacity between those data centers and the 5G network and the fiber networks also have to be aligned with all that traffic. And we start thinking about smart cities, smart this, smart that, that require very low latency and starts to require a lot of bandwidth. We joined that with AI and all this new innovation. And if you go to smart cities, we'll have security systems, cameras. So those cameras are actually generating a lot of video, right? So in high quality, and that all will be centralized somewhere. So we're talking about I don't know how many cameras in one city with much more than that, because they're not only looking at people for security reasons, they're also looking at license plates and crimes and behavioral from people. So that's why AI starts to play. So those are all new applications that will start to come and will generate a whole new demand for the data side that we don't even know. We at Telecom, we are launching a cloud service, cloud gaming service. And again, this is a completely new service that still picking up. It's still very small when you talk about cloud gaming compared to the gaming side. But in the reality, this is again a new service that I think will surge again in Brazil because most of the people don't have money to buy a PS5 or a PlayStation, or any Xbox. So that that service delivered again as a subscription, just like the video, just like the music, it's again going to generate a lot of traffic. And when we think about gaming, we could start thinking about VR, and VR start 8K and 360. It's a lot of data. Okay, so all that can have to come from somewhere else, from some place in some data center. So that's the need for that. So it's a little bit.
Well, my take on it is, yes, you need the data centers for certain types of applications. It needs to be closer to the user for latency reasons, of course, but not only for the people, but also for the companies. If you look into certain types of applications that happen, and again, Brazil is a huge country, and people tend to look into Brazil and say that data centers are only needed in São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro, which is a lie. You cannot sustain applications for enterprise-class applications with customers sitting in Fortaleza, in Ceará. Of course, Fortaleza is a bad example because we have data centers there. But Brasília, Manaus, Belém, all those cities consume enterprise-class applications, and they need a place to store the data. And if you go into cities where Leia, for example, has data centers, Porto Alegre, Curitiba, and of course Brasília, you see a lot of that demand. Companies used to build their own infrastructure because they could not access a real data center in that location. So the role that a data center plays is we become that ecosystem where people can come into, deploy their content, get that content closer to the end user, but also provide software as a service, cloud solutions that are close, again, to the end user, the enterprise companies. So applications like you just mentioned, your cloud solution sitting in our data centers, which is AI solutions, because you need to train those modules, and after you train them, you need to apply those. The training piece, you don't need much latency. Latency is not a problem. You could just boost that here in São Paulo or in Rio or São Paulo. But the piece where you are actually asking questions and the AI is answering those, that needs to be close to the end user. So multiple scenarios where you need those data centers coming into the edge. And of course, ISPs and companies as a whole, they need to come together and to make that infrastructure work.
Yeah, one simple example there, on the business side, you have tracking devices, right? That today run 2G, 3G. Those consume 5 megabytes. When we start thinking about new tracking devices and new IoT systems for V2X and vehicles and cars and trucks, if we go to agri-tech, some of those trucks, they consume 60 gigs of data. So it's...
And not only the consumption, but also the time that you take to take a decision, because if you take too long, that truck that's now harvesting soy, all of a sudden moves from one side to the other, and 1 millisecond of latency that you are reducing for him is increasing his production by X amount of beans that are being collected. So huge importance there for the agribusiness as well.
Okay, yes, but I want to compare in Latin American scenario for Europe. Can you help us?
No, I think I completely agree with you guys. I mean, latency is crucial, will be crucial for the next 14 years. I mean, you will be in the edge, completely agree. You need 5G, completely agree. But all the things points at the same place, is reducing the latency. So, talking about the infrastructure of the internet, it will be based in the latency and in more countries more connected, areas more connected, because of course you will need edge data center, you will need the content closer to the user, but there is another kind of application that needs a lot of data, a lot of traffic, a huge amount. We discussed yesterday that the international up to the out of the trend of having edge data center needs in any place. You have more content locally, but against all of that, the international traffic is growing like 40% every year. So it's a lot of traffic that is being generated, a lot of data that needs to be transported out of the data that is not transported. And absolutely, if you have a great 5G network with a low latency and you don't have an infrastructure, a network, terrestrial or subsea that support that, you can't choose.
Just two other things that I would like to add. Also, the consumption on a 4G regular phone. You know, we're thinking what we call it BOL, right? It's 5 gigabytes today in Brazil, average, for a postpaid. If we go 5G, we're already seeing, you know, what we seeing, Marcelo, 30? Minimum 15. So it's the same application, you're using the phone the same way, but it's because it have more bandwidth. If you're watching Netflix, it will do a 4K. Why? Don't need, but it's happening, right? The other thing that I'd like to add is data centers. So we're talking about a lot of data, right? The edge is going to have the data, but not all the data, right? Because and once we go more to the edge, even to the to the towers, we'll have some storage there, but it's going to be almost like a cache. So and that's the challenge. Where is all the data going to be replicated and back it up? Right? So on those are, so you're going to have big data centers, smaller data centers, and edge data centers. So that all will play a game there. And, going back to all this, then we started thinking about these projects, like the Amazon, and what's happening in Brazil. And when we see Brazil, we see a big divide, and the internet plays a role on that, right? So there's a digital divide, there's a social aspect on that. And I think Karina want to ask a question.
Yes, I have a question. Now we are talking everything about the sustainability. ESG is a reality in our place, and Elea Digital is very sustainable. Okay, can you talk about this?
In multiple dimensions. It's not just the color of the company that's green, but we also actually play a huge role in that. For instance, we buy our power from renewable sources. In the free market in Brazil, you can buy from specific places, and we are buying our power is 100% guarantee renewable. So that's one. We also have a sustainability bond. So we raised that against a sustainability bond that is attached to my WE, my water usage efficiency, and my power usage efficiency. So if I play bad on those, my interest rates grow in my bond. So that's how we look into it. But the most important thing is we are in the business of retrofitting data centers. We buy old buildings with old compute from different customers. The major one, of course, is Oi during the privatization or during their judicial recovery processes. We bought their data center, and we retrofitted all of them. Instead of buying a piece of land, building a new data center, we are retrofitting everything. What's more green than that? We are not throwing buildings out of the street and buying huge plots of land to build data centers. We are trying to do it in old buildings, retrofitting those and making sure they are efficient, and they are as efficient as I would be doing a new build. So we managed to create a formula, if you can say that, to retrofit those buildings. So I feel like that's the most environmental approach to building data center that I can see.
Okay, and the Ela-Link, it's the same concept?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that instead we have our own CLS in Portugal, and we also purchase all our energy from renewable sources, and we choose Sines as the place where there is a lot of energy available, solar power, hydroelectric power, and so they will be is being built a huge data center that is not from us, it's from another company, that it will be like the first module is 120 megawatts. This is huge, but will be 100% renewable sources. But when we talk about the connectivity, we forgot to discuss about that. When we increase the connectivity, we reduce the carbon footprint, because as we discussed in the pandemic, we travel less, but the business keep going because we have connectivity, we have video conference. If the pandemic happened like 20 years ago, we don't have 3G, we don't have fiber, it will be a mess, more mess than it was. So when we increase the connectivity, as Alan said, a new business model, a new application will appear, and all will reduce the footprint carbon that is in the first place it will be needed.
Is the difference for competition in your mind?
Sorry?
The competition for you, it's very important or not?
No, I think that
the market needs.
No, the market needs to be capable clean. Actually, the most of the companies and the stock market is for sure the same way that he told about the bond. There is a lot of stock market that is putting this kind of KPI to do the valuation of the companies.
Okay.
So it's a reality that our companies needs to be sustainable, needs to be more environmental, and have good governance.
And I feel, let me just add one comment on there, which is customers will begin to buy capacity or data center, in my case, based on your environmental sustainability and governance. We are getting there, where customers will pay more to deploy their solution with an ESG type of company. We are not seeing that as of today, but I can foresee this in 1 or 2 years. Companies will begin to take the buying decisions based on those kind of things. That will be a huge development in the market.
Okay, and for you, this is impacted?
Yeah, this is today it's a topic that is general for any corporation. So it's ESG, yes, this is very important, even on the line of any P&L. Today, when we talk ESG, here we're talking about the savings, the carbon footprint, and when we use those data centers, they are green. That all the chain is also being it's turning green, right? So instead of you running something computer in your house, a PlayStation in your house, you're running in the cloud, and that cloud is green. So that helps. We're very blessed that Brazil have all this green energy. We have solar, we have hydroelectric, we have we're very blessed. But not only that, I will also, like I said before, the social impact also that's very important there. The social divide and the social impact that, the government, the G part here, taking that the fiber all the way to the Amazon and creating and giving access to information and giving access to opportunities for these new people. There are new people, no, these people that are far away, and in a way they can contribute with Brazil as a whole because they can work from home, right? So why someone in Boa Vista can now work for a company in São Paulo today, giving this opportunity, giving opportunity to study, opportunity to content, to develop themselves today, also on the edutech type of environment. So again, the whole society is reshaping. We change the way we study, the way we live, the way we work. So the behavioral changes are here, and I think we'll see much more in the future.
Just a little bit contribution here. In our 5E auction, one of the projects to cover all schools, it doesn't matter the size of the school in Brazil, with significant internet, significant access to internet. So no matter how, for instance, this project of internet under the rivers, for instance, will cover all schools in that group of 58 school, cities. Okay, but so we in our in our reality in Anatel, we are concerned about society issues, and but I remember projects in the past that did the same thing, but all schools must have computers. Okay, they placed the computers, but no internet. Well, what can I do with the computer without internet? Okay, I can access Word, I can do my job. Okay, but the data is there. Now we are giving the internet connection, but what to access? Where is the data center? Where is the information? The information may be in Europe, maybe in São Paulo, but we are in Amazon area. Where is the content from Amazonia here to access? So we are giving small steps, of course. Maybe the data center will reach there soon, but for sure, with that much capacity, for sure it will be there. But the point is, this project that we are supposed to give internet capacity for all schools we are moving on. We started a discussion with network community representatives. I'm trying to translate to English here, but we have representatives that are close to these schools, and okay, I have a small community here that would be great if I had internet access. So you can see that small steps that this is not a small one, but for each step you give, another step you can see, okay, now I can go forward. I can move forward in the direction of social issues that was 5 years or 2 years ago, actually few years ago, you couldn't imagine how to solve that huge, that astonishing problem. How to solve it? It's impossible. But nowadays, oh, you have internet on this school. I can give internet to that community. So, of course, all of those issues are under discussion right now. We don't have anything approved by the Anatel's border representative, but we are discussing, we are foreseeing solutions that were not able yesterday or in the very near past. By now, we are giving the internet capability. In the future, maybe we are discussing how to get the content closer to those people.
Just want to add something else on the government side also. When we think about U.S., for example, we think about a very connected country, internet. We think everyone have internet, but there is actually 2 plans from the government, and actually a bunch of them, but 2 they're very specific. Lifeline that gives phones for low income, and then you have ACP, the connectivity program. So, and those are for tribes and low income people. So that's about 20 million households that that can apply for that program. And we're talking about U.S. So that's low income, and that generates a digital divide that generates a social divide. So.
Okay. Okay. And then when you talk about the past and the present, and I see the future, and I want to see the future. In the future, we have another demand, another way of life, and you're not the same now, the same person. You don't know. No.
Who knows?
Or not, yeah. And when you see in the future, can you predict the demand on the future for these different ways and different demands of AI, IoT, ESG?
I think the use cases are here already. At least the majority of them. It's just a question of develop them and making them work properly. I mean, AI, we all know AI just because of ChatGPT, but AI exists at least for 20 years or more than that. But people now realize what is real AI. Business cases are beginning to emerge, but one thing is for sure, we will be, or if we are not already, a data planet. Data will play an important role. We will still need transport. We will still need the internet. We will still need more submarine cable systems. And in my opinion, what will also happen in my piece of the industry, which is data center, is when we started the business 2 years ago, we thought edge data centers were 1 megawatt facilities where you can push a bunch of cabinets from different international players and etc. Now we are playing the macro edge play because we are building 10 to 20 megawatt facilities in those cities. And we're like, 2 years ago, we were planning for 2. What's going on? What changed it? The amount of data that we are consuming. So that pushes data center more towards the edge, and we are on the play of building data centers in all the major capital cities. But then the business case of towers will emerge. Data centers or containers will be present in those towers with 5 to 10 cabinets to support those extra low latencies type of deployments with self-driving cars, for example. So yeah, that's my take on the future. Data will continue to grow. Data centers will continue to grow because we need more, and it's a surging demand in Latin America for my point of view.
Yeah, I think that we are seeing a huge shift and a lot of disruption in a lot of markets. And in my vision, there will be a lot of disruption more. We see, in my point of view, one of the biggest disruption will happen in the education. Because traditionally, talking about the history, before that, the information was in the head of the teacher. So the people needs to go to the school to learn from him. But now we have all the information is in internet. So we need the schools connected, and we need to teach our children how to search good information, consume good information, have that critical thinking about what they need to consume, because they will have access to a lot of information, some fake information, some bad information, but also great information for free, that for low-income people will be a huge shift in their life. They can study robotics from the Amazon River. That was unthinkable some years ago. So there will be a lot of disruption, a lot of data being consumed. We see a lot of new business models there was some buildings, residential buildings, that are actually building his own cloud for saving the photos of the people that live there. That's it. It's a very simple case use, but you see that a lot of data will be stored in your building. You will have a micro data center on your own building. So the amount of things that will happen in the future, we don't know. We can't imagine. He said that the headsets, the digital reality, VR, telemedicine, the robotics, the digital twins, absolutely have to consume, and things that we don't know. We don't even know.
We're very creative. Humans are very creative.
Yeah.
So you asked about applications. So connected cars is one that is right here and right now. It's arriving. Not the connected cars that we think is just the tracking, but also all the analytics that come with it, and the cars talking to each other. Few people know that will happen because the driving cars, they have to talk to each other to know where they're coming from. That's called V2X. This whole complex of connected cars, and that's why this is coming. The manufacturers for 25 are already getting their plants ready to have the connectivity on the cars, on all the cars, on most of the cars that I know. Okay, so when we're talking about not only one SIM card but 3. Sometimes, or 4 connections on the car, one for the company to maintain the car and monitor the car health, maybe one for the Wi-Fi, one for the infotainment that we'll have in the car for Spotify or anything that we want to use in the car, and even one for the insurance company who will also be able to track you and insure you by the kilometer or on the plan. All those business models are also going to be changing. Okay. When we talk about, I was joking that in the future we're going to get old, and yes, everyone here is going to get old, and insurance, health insurance is also another big issue when the population is starting to get old, right? So all these monitoring systems that today we have the smartwatch are also going to be exchanging data with the insurance companies, with the telemedicine, and all that's going to be connected. And today we use watches. I mean, in US, I've already seen a lot of people using smart tracking devices for glucose and some other diabetes, to track diabetes or any other type of diseases. So there are a lot of other sensors that are also there for the telemedicine, for tracking. So I guess in the future, and with the new advance on the biomedicine, epigenetics, and all that also play a role there, we are also going to be living more. And that also creates more people and more data.
Okay, in my point of view, since from 2G, where we had voice-only communication, 3G, we had voice, text, and image. 4G, we added video. And now on 5G, up to 4G, we had the human being at the center of the generating the information. Now from 5G, we have it's the things. Things will generate information. Things will be the center of the information. The information that cameras, that IoT devices will generate in our society as soon as the applications arise. Some applications are here right now, but most of the most important one, I think it's coming. The information we are gonna generate is too small. When we compare for the cameras for this device, for instance, think about our house, automated house. How many devices will be generating information there? If you want to log those information, for instance, what time started to rain? Oh, if it starts to rain, please close my windows. What time my kids rise up? Arrive from school. What time? I want to check those information after it happens, so I need to store it somewhere. Where I gonna store it? At the cloud. If you take a look at the cloud, what's there? The data center. So somehow the data center must be spread out, the entire network, or this cloud would be, if there's only one cloud, because we are used to say the cloud. But the cloud, the cloud, where is it? What is it? So my point of view is the things are gonna push the cloud down. The cloud must be closer to the things, and things, for instance, think about telemedicine. That case, you have internet, a broadband internet in some river, small community, and the kid is sick, but you don't have the specialist there. Okay, the specialists want to check some information. If you have the appropriate equipment, some nurse can check the ear of it with the appropriate equipment with a high resolution, and the medical team on the other side of the world, or maybe here in Rio de Janeiro or São Paulo, could give the precise medicine to be given to the kid, prescribed to the kid, and the kid is okay. They don't need to come to Rio de Janeiro, they don't need to come to São Paulo or other major city to solve its issue. So think about social interests, thinking about even our reality right now. For instance, agriculture in Brazil is feeding the world due to automated tractors, automated systems. We have fewer employees in the farm, but much bigger production due to the technology, due to the connectivity. So I do think that the future is going to be driven by things. Okay.
Okay. And now we're coming to the end. And any questions for our speakers?
Just a very sincere observation from the United States, and not to make this sound like a sales pitch at all, because I've been dealing in intellectual property. But in listening to Alan, for instance, talk about the behavioral changes driving all this change, or Renato talking about what to do for school systems in Brazil. If this was an American conference and you were in America, it'd be the same discussion. And I got to say that in 1995, Microsoft, Bill Gates, defined this term called the cloud for the first time. But in the United States, we could very quickly jump on that technology because of the vast resources we have, financial and technology. But now my sincere observation is that you all in South America have the same thinking. So if this was a US conference, you would each have companies, we'd have hundreds or thousands of patents behind what you just said. Because I heard hundreds of patents from you guys just now, because that's what I do for a living. So the hope for me and for you guys in the future is you will embrace intellectual property as something that you can do to be on par with the rest of the world that uses this tool in a very big way. So that's just an observation.
Thank you. Any questions? No? And now the end. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. Thank you, GCCM, for the space for talking. Thank you. Bye-bye.